Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north, and today we're going to look at a mounted Bulbophyllum, Elizabeth and Buckleberry, and discuss why it's not flowered and what we can perhaps do to it to try and get it to do something for me this year. So I'll swizzle you around and let's get started. Okay, so this is my Bulbophyllum, Elizabeth and Buckleberry, and there's the label. You can see we've got IW there. I only recently learned, or kind of dawned on me, that means intermediate to warm. AM, Ward of Garden Merit from the RHS. This is one of the older ones that I've had. I've had this quite a number of months, probably nearly 2 years now actually. And I've never really known what to do with it because my knowledge wasn't such a level that I really knew what was going on. I've only quite recently kind of got to grips with this idea of a creeping rhizome. So thanks to Todd of Todd's Tropicals, I now know that this is a Sympodial orchid. So a Sympodial orchid is one that has a rhizome which creeps along, and every so often along the rhizome you get these swollen pseudobulbs. A pseudobulb is a storage organ. I looked this bit up myself. It's a storage organ that is something that helps to protect the plant in times of drought. It also provides food as well. I'm just feeling that leaf field very wrinkled, beginning to get wrinkled. So now I've learnt a little bit more about these, I think I can see what's happening here. Now first off, I understand that this is an intermediate to warm, and my conditions through winter are lows of 12 overnight, also during the day actually, certainly for December, and not so much the beginning of January. It hasn't been so far, it's been quite mild, but it's going to go cold again. So during the day it's also going to be about 12. So I think the temperatures are not to its liking, but you can see we've got these back bulbs here, may or may not have flowered, impossible to tell, but the bulbs are getting smaller and more shriveled and smaller as we move up here, and I think they're basically just not keeping moist enough, or they're not getting enough water in order to give them the swollen appearance that they need. I've still got its sheath on there. So what I want to do here, I mean the bark is okay, it doesn't seem to have broken down in any way, is I want to get this off here, probably cut at least that back one off, maybe cut that one off as well, move the whole thing back down, get some moss underneath, and try and get these roots into the moss so that it's staying hydrated for longer, and then eventually we may see some blooms. So that's what I'm going to do. At a future video I'm going to discuss sympodial and monopodial and some other terms that I learned along the way to do with orchids, which as much as anything else will help get it clear in my own mind, as well as maybe be useful for some people. I know we can all look this stuff up, but you know, everybody can, and let's face it, some people prefer to watch YouTube instead. So there's certainly no shortage of new growths on this. It does keep producing new leaves, but it's going off the edge of the bark there, and they're very, very small. They're much smaller than the original ones. This one down here, which has got its roots in some moss, is much more swollen. So that leads me to think that the whole thing just needs to be moved down, get some moss underneath it so that these roots here and down here are actually in some moss. It's probably too late for these. I doubt they'll go any bigger, but in future then we might begin to see something worth seeing, and maybe at some point in the long distant future we might actually get some blooms on this thing. So I'll speed it up and let's see. I bought some new twine, so I've got garden wire on this, I bought some fishing line, so I'm going to have a bash at that. So I'll speed you up and let's get cracking. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and we're back. So I'm going to have lost some roots there, but the thing, it doesn't seem to be broken down. It's still quite solid. The rhizome has got quite a number of roots, and they were stuck underneath there, but as you can see, looking at it there, the biggest bulb at the bottom is the only one in the moss. These at the top are really small and really shriveled because they're just going off the edge there. Even though it's still producing new shoots, it's not going to bloom with these little tiny things. So what I'm going to do is just take the moss out so I can see what's going on, and I'm definitely going to cut that one off, and probably that one as well. I shall just sterilise my tools. Mick, are you watching? Now look at this. It's rusty, it's old, it's been used a lot, but at least it's going to be sterilised. So I've got this stuff here to remind me, and I still forget. So I'll just spray that off camera. Okay, I know I'm not world's best with plant hygiene, I must admit. Right, so that's definitely coming off there. And I'm just wondering whether that one should come off as well. I've not really got a bigger piece of bark. Let me just have a quick look. No, I did get those pieces of driftwood, but they're still currently desalting, getting all the salt off that yet. I'm going to cut some more off. I'm going to cut that one off. It's certainly not going to flower, it's too shriveled. I'll just pull it off. Okay, so let's cut some of the dead stuff away. It's encouraging in as much as, look, there's quite a few actively growing roots there. A bit more of the rhizome. Take that bit of moss out there, get some new stuff in there. Gosh, it's anything but tropical here today. It's absolutely blowing a gale. It's really cold, it's under 5 degrees. Just wondering if we've got 2 pieces here actually. They're all tangled, it's hard to say. I think it's the same rhizome. I mean, that one is totally shriveled. It's kind of like an end there to it. I wonder if I can take that one off. Although, yeah. Yeah, that was just kind of at the end, and you can see the leaves beginning to shrivel there. It's not looking good. I think perhaps it was just due a good going over, and I think definitely getting it in the moss hopefully will help. Just take the sheath off there. That's my only nice looking bulb really, isn't it? The rest are looking dreadful. Well, that's down to lack of knowledge. So now that I'm a bit more savvy with it, and I know which way they go, and I know that they will creep upwards, so I wonder if there's enough room on this bark, get it down there, see. Like that. Should I take another off? Once I get pruning by the gum. I know they do, the back buds do perform a function. I'm just thinking of, that one's got good roots on it too. No, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna try and get it on like that, and see if we can get that one down, that new one, into there. There's another new one there, and get them to do something. So I'll just go and get some moss. Okay, back. So this is got in it. This is large New Zealand sphagnum moss. Super long strands. Okay. So get that on there. It's already still moist. Nothing dries out in here. It's very humid in the greenhouse. Nothing like Brad's. It's not up to like 90%, but it does average about 80, and that's without any. I have got a fogger, but it's not been on for about 2 months now. It's switched on. I've got it up to about 55%, but it never ever drops below 70, and it hasn't done so far. Just the conditions, just the natural conditions in the country for this year. It can go dry. We can get some dry conditions. Right, so I've put the moss underneath because I want to get those roots in contact with something a bit more moist. It's really a case of just trying to fit it all in, squish it all down, give it some room to manoeuvre. How's that? Okay, so the moss out of the way. Never used this before. It's kind of like you feel like you've actually nothing in your hands. It's a bit bizarre. Okay, I think that's on solidly, and if it's not, we will soon find out, won't we? Okay, so what do I tie it to? I don't know. Oh, I'm getting all in a tiz with this. Whose idea was fishing line? Right, let's just snip it off so we've not got that bit in the way. Deal with you later. Oh, geez Louise. Should have paid attention at Cub Scouts. Right, here we go. Last little knot, hopefully. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Ah, it's come off. I am nothing if not doggedly determined. Yes, get in. Right, we're done. Okay, don't fall off. Right, how's that? Just snip that little loose end off there. Oh, would you believe it? It's loose. The rest of it's alright, it's just that bit. The bit that was in moss now isn't, so that's going to shrivel as well now, isn't it? Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I shall speed up again while I just do this last little bit and get that back in some moss. So, I'll catch you on the other side of it. Okay, I think we're going to have to do that as it is, leave it as it is. I mean, it's better than it was. the bottom now is the worst bit. That bit's certainly okay in the middle. That bit's alright. I think I'll go back to my garden wire. Much easier with garden wire. You know we are with a good tough bit of garden wire. This fishing line's alright, faff. Do I try one more? One more, wish me luck. Okay, back. So, yeah, using fishing line is like knitting with sand. It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but it's a pain. Right, so there we have it. There's not a great deal of room at the top, is there really? But at least it's not going off the edge. And it's in some moss now. I mean, maybe I should have put some moss on top of it as well. I don't know. At least it's got something moisture retentive that it can burrow down into before it hits the bark. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if it plumps up any of these pseudobulbs. Let's see if it let's see if it stays on for a start. That's my first issue. I'm not so sure it will do. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, okay, so that's Bulbophyllum Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry, newly mounted. All its roots hopefully in some moss now. Still looser than I was hoping for. I might have another faff around with it, see if I can tighten it a bit more. Well, that's it for today, and if you've got any Bulbophyllum Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry advice for me, then I would love to hear from you. Stick it in the comments, and otherwise I will see you on the next one. Bye.